Hello world, Cozzy here with another geek movie review, this time reviewing Red State. Now Red State is from writer-director Kevin Smith. He's most famous for his comedy films like Clerks, Mallrats, Chasing Amy, Dogma, Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back and Zack and Miri Make a Porno. And this film is a real departure for Smith. It sees him trying to sort of reinvent himself almost. It's very, very different genres, and I'm going to talk a little bit about it right now. Okay, story. Now, the basic overview of the story, it's about three high school kids. One of them has been talking to this older woman online about meeting up for sex. The three of them go to this meetup, and unfortunately it's a trap. They get drugged, they get kidnapped by a Christian cult called the 5 Points Church, led by Pastor Abin Cooper. And Cooper wants to basically show up sinners in front of his congregation. It's made up of his family, basically people who are blood relatives or related through marriage. And it's a very corrupt church. They're being investigated by the ATF, who turn up as part of the investigation. When they turn up, all hell breaks loose. So the story itself, it's interesting, if a little predictable. It starts off feeling like a horror thriller, sort of teen horror thriller, and then midway through the movie there's a bait and switch, and suddenly the movie becomes a very definite sort of shootout action movie. Now, this would work given more time to the actual movie itself, which isn't a particularly long film, because there's not enough time given to the movie. This bait and switch seems very rushed and strange, especially at the point where the horror, teen horror thriller element of the movie is really starting to take off and become very, very interesting. Suddenly it becomes a completely different movie. If Smith had, say, given another 30 minutes to this movie, then this would have worked a lot better. The transition in particular would have worked a lot better, and it would have been a better movie for it. Obviously, with there being the fact that 30 minutes of the movie probably was needed extra, it means a lot of the character development is also fairly weak, especially the development of the three high school kids who have been kidnapped by this church, this Christian cult. There's a real lack of development of their characters, and it means that as a viewer you don't really engage them, and you don't really feel as bad about what might happen and does happen to them over the course of this movie, which is a shame, because obviously you are meant to feel some sort of connection to those characters and what happens to them. This is a similar thing, character development wise, for most of the characters in this movie, with the exception of two. There are two real, fully developed, feel actual real people type characters, that being the pastor, Abin Cooper, played by Michael Parks, and Special Agent Keenan, played by John Goodman. They are the only two characters in the entire movie that feel like they've had a full character development and you actually feel connected to in any way, be that love or hatred. So it's a shame. A lot more time needed to go into the character development, and a lot more time needed to go into the movie itself. Okay, acting wise, now acting, because of the bare bones character development that Smith uses for most of the characters in this movie, the acting is hindered. Now, there are some very good actors who are delivering okay performances, and whether it's because of the direction, whether it's because of the lack of character development, it doesn't really stand out. Out of the three main characters from the start of the movie, the three high school kids, Kyle Galler is the best of the three actors. He, if you ever watched Smallville, played Bart Allen, or Impulse. He is the best of the three that are shown to be the main characters at the start of the movie, and everyone else is kind of nondescript, with the exception of two actors. John Goodman gives a good performance, and John Goodman is a good actor. I think the only time I would say he hasn't given a good or stand-up performance is in the Flintstones movie. It was pretty terrible. But yeah, he is good in this movie. He has a good role as well, and has a lot of good dialogue, which helps. And second is an outstanding performance, and dare I say it, a performance better than this movie deserves, from Michael Parks as Pastor Abin Cooper. Parks is absolutely fantastic. He is engrossing. I mean, every time he's on screen, you can't help but be interested in what he's saying, what he's doing, the way he looks at things, the way he's setting things up. It's fantastic. It is Oscar nomination worthy. That's how good Parks is in this movie. And as I say, it's a shame that the movie couldn't come up to this fantastic performance from Michael Parks. He is brilliant. An honourable mention must go to Kevin Smith's wife, Jennifer. She has a small part in this movie. She's not a fantastic actress, but she has definitely improved a great deal since her role in Jay and Silent Bob Strikes Back. She's obviously worked hard on that, and it's good to see. Directing. Now, Kevin Smith is not known for his directing skills. He is known as a great writer, especially of dialogue, but this film makes it abundantly clear that he's not as talented a director as maybe he thinks he is. Now, there's some really awkward camera angles and awkward cuts, feel very, very unnatural. They affect both the pace and the feel of this movie, and unfortunately it stops it from being as good as a lot of the dialogue and probably the story itself should have been. In an ideal world, Smith would have written this movie and given it over to a more skilled and more talented director of this type of genre. Smith's obviously good with comedy. He knows how to set up a shot based around jokes, but not this type of movie, this sort of horror, thriller, action movie. If it was in the hands of someone like Tarantino or Rodriguez, this would have been an entirely different movie, and in fact, it possibly could have been a 5-star movie, which is a shame. Must, however, give a lot of credit to Kevin Smith for his dialogue. His dialogue is crisp, it is fantastic, it does hold it together. If the dialogue wasn't so good, this film could very easily have been a 1 or 2-star movie. So, yeah, props have to go to Kevin Smith. He can write dialogue. Okay, overall, guys, I'd say this is a 3-star movie. It's enjoyable. It just lacks that something special that makes it better, makes it 4 or 5-star. I wouldn't rush out to the cinemas to see it. I would maybe give it a chance when it hits Blu-ray, DVD, and the streaming sites like Netflix and LoveFilm. Give it a chance then. It is enjoyable. You will like it. It's fairly short. And that has been one of its problems. So yeah, it's a 3-star movie. It's okay. It's not terrible. It's just, unfortunately, not great either. Well, that's it for this review, guys. As always, I'm going to pop some links up. One there to last week's Geek Movie News, in case you haven't seen it. One there to my review for Warrior, and one there to my review for Green Lantern Emerald Knights. Like button is down there. Click on that like button if you liked this review. Have you got something to say about the film? Have you seen it yourself? Do you disagree or agree with what I'm saying? Then you know where the comment boxes are. They're down there. In the drop down box, there is a link to my Facebook fan site. You can go on there. You can go on and become a fan of me on Facebook. Follow and find out what's going on in the world of not just this channel, but obviously Geek Movie News. Obviously, you can also subscribe, and you click that subscribe button, and then you subscribe to my channel. These videos will appear in your subscription box. You won't have to hope that your friends send you them or that you randomly come across them.